Hello and welcome to interview number 38 here on the Herald's Horn. Today I am joined in the horn by David, perhaps better known by MyHandsAreBlank, and Jacob Paris. Both of these are prominent community artists who, while not technically quote-unquote like Magic the Gathering artists, have been around the scene for a bit and are making awesome art and becoming more and more involved in Magic every single day. I wanted to pick their brain about their activities at MagicCon Chicago, and also for David, MagicCon Vegas, specifically around his Doodle panel and also Doodle Showdown activity that he's been running over the last couple of events. These are really cool events that get people involved with art, get the community involved with art, get the community involved closer with community artists, all while having a whole lot of fun. I won't talk about it too much. I'm going to let them talk about it. It's a great conversation. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Herald's Horn, episode number 38. I already introduced them today. I am joined by David and Jacob. Hello, David and Jacob.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome into the Herald's Horn. Thank you for joining me here today.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, I can already sense the tenor of the conversation here going in a greatly adversarial direction. No, I'm kidding. So I have had the two of you on today to talk about a panel from MagicCon Chicago, also MagicCon Las Vegas, the Doodle Showdown.
The Doodle Off. I have a horrible problem with branding at Chicago, or branding the event in Chicago, but it will be fixed in the future.
The Doodle Off Showdown Maximum Off. She off on my doodle till I down. It was what it'll be called next time.
Absolutely. You heard it here first. He's going to make that poster now.
It's going to be this long of text.
The way to think about it is that we had two events. We had the Doodle Off Showdown, which was the spectacle play event that you could play on Sunday morning in the creator area at MagicCon Chicago. And then there was the Doodle Off panel, which was the event that you were asking us about. That was on Saturday from like 5:30 to 6:30.
That makes sense. Wait, what happened? Okay, first, what happened in the Doodle Off Showdown? I want to hear about the Doodle Off Showdown. Second, you have to introduce the listeners as well to the Doodle Off panel, what we're here to talk about. But
which one do you want first?
Let's go with the Showdown first. Okay.
Well, the Showdown was insane. Essentially what it was is we had, what was it? Flights of 12 or is it 16?
16.
So we had flights of 16 people, and it was a bracketed showdown where we would name a character, and these groups of people would draw these characters, and we'd have some guest judges. So we had we had Kuro come in, we had Bosch and Roll come in, we had
Leon Tucker was there too.
Judge one.
He was just walking around.
Cityscape Leveler, and we went through these bracket systems essentially where 16, 8, 4, 2, and then whoever wins, they would win some packs and some product provided to us by Dragon Shield, which was awesome. And towards the latter half of the day, I think around 2:00, we had like a showdown of champions where these people were drawing more difficult doodles, and doing that, they had the chance to win a playmat that I actually designed for the panel itself, which was super fun. I actually have it if you want to see it. But
yeah, I want to see it.
Let me grab it. 1 second.
See if I can get mine out before Jakey gets back.
It is. I'll find it later.
Don't worry, I have mine right here.
You have yours? Okay, cool.
I have mine right here.
I think you'll like this, Cal, because it's like Mario Kart Double Dash inspired.
Yeah, it's like
some
That's awesome.
Patterns on the back. But yeah, I mean, that was just like an absolute blast, because I think we calculated up after the fact And these were, meant to be progressively harder rounds. And we had a lot of families come in, a lot of people of all ages and all skills and all sizes. I think we had 150 people come in for that spectacle play, which was
like total from like front to the end, because
That's awesome.
we had at least 8. I think we had 9 flights.
I believe we had 9
of 16, and one of the people just didn't come back for the Contest of Champions, which was actually really helpful because then it was just a clean.
Yeah, then it was a clean 8. Yeah.
Yeah. But we had a ton of people come through for it. Like a lot of people came around, like were watching it and everything too, which is a ton of fun. Different like guest judges to come around too, and like just overall it was like really good vibes as well.
Also got
just
the nicest compliment from Mike Forthos ever.
Oh yeah,
legitimately.
He posted on Blue Sky. It was like, this event was like fantastic. It was great. Like A+ something.
Yep.
Which was just like, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see.
Very
That's
validating.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Forthos Mike, good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good kid.
Time.
Good kid.
Big time.
So I'm glad that event went so well. And I assume that event is somewhat of a derivative of the panel. Is this true?
Yes. So what originally happened, the reason this whole event came out is back in 2023, I went to a Super Smash Brothers major in the area called Battle of BC. And at this event, and now I play Smash, but I don't play Smash competitively.
Yeah, sure.
And at the event, they had a bunch of side events like Rock, Paper, Scissors. They had Mr. Game & Watch, like Hammer, whoever does that better wins. They had a pop-off competition, but there was also an Art for Memory competition, which I participated in. I crushed it. I took down grand finals without a reset.
West Coast, baby.
I was like, this is such a fun idea. So in Vegas 23, I got a creator badge and I got a meet and greet time slot. But the thing is that like, even now, I don't particularly think that I'm somebody that people are going to seek out at a meet and greet time slot. So what I decided to do instead was like, I'll put like a little game together to entice people to come and hang out. And I just copied the Art for Memory showdown at the Smash event. And it went really well. Like a ton of people came around. I actually also reserved one of the play tables that they had to continue the event. So for basically 5 hours, I was doing this, and like everyone really enjoyed it. For Chicago the following year, I did it again at the meet and greet table. And then in Vegas, I was like, we should definitely try to do this on like a larger scale. So we were able to put together the panel, and we initially submitted for both a panel and for a spectacle play, and we were accepted for both. But we decided to stick with the panel rather than spectacle play, just to like keep it simple. And then Chicago, we got accepted, and I was like, we can do both this time.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
I think also to further on that, like the way from the outward perspective of like David's brain, he had this idea, he ran it at his table, and he actually reached out to like 6 or 8 different artists, me being one of them, which was really nice, to like parse interest. And I think it was good that, because I've known David for a while. I think I reached out to you initially to do a project that ended up not coming to fruition, but it was nice that we met at the time that we did, because like little pull behind the curtain, I'm running like a game show with Adobe right now. Like that's my main, I guess, point of interest. So branding and, just like ideology and the kind of process of what next we could kind of work out from an outward perspective. That being said, in terms of bracketing, like theme, branding, all that stuff, that's all David's brain. Like I did not do any of that, so I'm not going to take credit for that, but more of like the execution and us like offloading, I guess, right? Like whatever David needed help with, thankfully we had a good group of people that had some experience in the either game show world or the art world, which was really nice, because then everything felt, at least to me, pretty not stressful. And I think for you too, you seemed pretty more stoked than anything else.
Yeah, I think so. We've had 7, 8, 9, 10, like 10 different people on both of the panels combined. We had Inkling Customs, Adriana Catani. We were going to have Ice and Art before their injury at Chicago, and then those 3 were only at the Chicago panel. And then Jacob, myself, and Sam from Howling Salt Mine were at both. Then we also had Megan from Infinite Tokens, Radley from Blue Sky and Twitter.
From Radley.
Radley from Gay Morning Magic.
Yeah. We also had Grem from Gremcore, and then we had Haley, who was a TikTok creator who's sort of like taking a break right now. And I kind of appreciated that, like, I was able to get sort of people from like all different sides of like making Magic fan art to like together for both panels, which is like kind of what I've really appreciated the most about it, because it's also that I get to like work with different creators too. It is no secret to myself that I've been directly inspired by England Customs basically since she started making tokens for people on the SCG circuit, and Adriano like doing the MTG Goldfish stuff. So to like actually get to pull them in for something in Chicago was like super cool, but it's also like a good chance for, I feel like, audience members to see us all working together too, because I feel like it's just, you oftentimes see like different EDH creators like playing Magic together, but you don't often see different artists drawing together.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just assume that art and doing art is a much more solitary thing, which it can be. But nice to also see people working together like that. The panel, so the showdown was like explicitly a competition. Is the panel a lot more just like, all right, we're all chilling, we're all going to draw something from memory, and then we're all going to show you guys something from memory? Is there a competition aspect, or is it just a lot more chill and fun?
It's more chill and fun. I think that, some of us will keep track of who wins. I think Radley won.
Some of us, David is keeping track of who won.
I think Radley won Vegas. I don't know who won Chicago. I think it was Jess.
It was definitely Jess. Jess got like 8 points by the end of everything. But your boy finally got on the board after 2 consecutive. We both did, right?
We both, neither of us got a point at Vegas.
Not a single point, dude. It was crazy. Like, insane. But yeah, no, I think to kind of circle back, especially talking about like the aspect of community with this panel, it's really nice because I feel like, at least in my personal experience with Magic and Magic content creation, it's really hard to like break out, like to have your own thing, you know, like obviously there's personalities and there's like how you edit things and there's twists. And I feel like for this, with David bringing us into this and this being David's idea and, you know, this coming to fruition, like it definitely has added this really fun spin to like what we are known in the Magic community for. Cause like none of us have done Magic cards. None of us have done promos, official tokens, anything. But it's kind of fun to be like, oh yeah, we're known as the Magic art, like the bootleg Magic artist, Magic fan artist, right? Like, and it's cool. Like I love Wizards and I love like working with them, and I love that they've given us this platform. But I also love that this is like no parameters, no holds bar. This is us. This is our thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool that people resonate with that, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. What would you say there was a lot of stuff that you like learned the first time around that you got to apply to Chicago?
Big time, I think.
Yeah.
You can go first.
I think so. One like big thing that we learned is that we needed to take pictures of our little drawings as we were doing them, because we just forgot to do that last time. So none of us had any photos of our little doodles. Which was always so sad, because I was like, I know I drew some really fun ones. We did get a recording of the Vegas event, so we do technically have them.
Some amount of proof of that, yeah.
That it happened.
And we had the Chicago one as well. It's funny though, the one thing that I was so certain about, like that we have to make sure that we do in Chicago, is we have to turn on a screen recording so that when I edit the video together, you can actually see it more clearly what the person is doing. And I didn't do that.
We literally forgot.
Yeah.
I just forgot completely. But I think we also learned kind of like a way to like advertise it. We like started talking about it more. One thing that I was super happy with is that for the spectacle play, which I feel like both events kind of advertised like each other, I reached out to a bunch more different fan artists on Twitter that weren't included in the panel to create this poster that Jacob put together that looks almost like a fighting game character select screen that had 14 different doodles on them. Some of them were the Vegas doodles from the token that we handed out, but a lot of them were from just people who had not previously been involved with the doodle event at all. And we got some like really nice stuff. One person drew doodle as if they were in like a JoJo pose. Another person drew doodle as if they were a Disco Elysium like character portrait.
Yeah, they did like an oil painting-esque thing.
That's so sick.
Which was crazy. Like,
yeah, and it was just nice seeing all that stuff coming together too. And I think going forward, that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. Is I want to try to reach out to as many artists as I can, not just to like advertise the event, but to more like just work with other people.
Yeah. Like highlight them in a way, and to piggyback off of that too, especially like of things that we've learned, like the promotion. I think this time around we really aspired to do more physical stuff. It's not just getting a token. It's not just getting some stuff just from Dragon Shield or just from Wizards or just some packs. Like we really strived to do that playmat. We really strived to do tokens specific for the event, which we did in Vegas, but like this just felt a bit more on theme and like given out really early and promoted really early. And I feel like it showed, because even to talk, I mean, we talked about this towards the latter half of it. Our room, like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like full, but like we had a lot more people than we had in Vegas, and right beside our room was Commander at Home. Like right beside our room.
Dude, I feel like hear it in the recording.
Like at the same time.
At the same exact time. And I'm like, that's got to count for something. Because shouts out to Kibler and Olivia. Like they do amazing stuff. So I would not blame anyone for going over there instead. But it's nice that people wanted to see what we were doing.
We did do something with our tokens that I think is actually pretty helpful that we'll do in the future, that we took from the Howling Salt Mine panel. Where Sam numbers a bunch of cards that he hands out to people as people come into the room. So, and we did that with the Doodle token. And because of that, we know now that we had at least 80 people in the room.
Hey, there you go. And then also, I think like, did you end up doing anything that was like, all right, if you have token number X.
Yes, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah,
that's how we gave away playmats and Heavy Play actually sponsored the panel, which was so nice, like being able to give out some of their cool stuff. So it was a cool time.
Yeah, we had like deck boxes, like the magnetic dice trays and all that kind of stuff, as well as the one of the big prizes was we drew on one of their ETB playmats, like the folding ones.
Yeah,
which is just super nice.
I've always been surprised that more people haven't been doing that, like the drawing on the Heavy Play stuff.
The Sharpies move on them very, very well.
Yeah,
they're pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I've heard from people. I gotta ask David, if you could condense it down. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? Is it the community aspect? Are you just having fun putting on a good show? All of the above?
Well, like this will be a long route to get to this answer. So I started doing TikToks in 2020 as like my pandemic hobby, and like my original goal when I started doing them was like, oh, you know, it'd be cool like if I got to do like a preview card or something, and like. Forever later, I got to do one with Thunder Junction, which is like super cool. But throughout that whole time frame, it kind of felt like the likelihood of me getting to do a preview card is like going down a little bit, which was disappointing. But I was like, you know what? I'm actually fine with that. I kind of just want to keep doing
doing my own thing here. That was the goal. Yeah. It necessarily isn't anymore.
Yeah. And it's like, I kind of more focus on making stuff that I would want to like consume and watch. Like every time there's a ban list, I always like film myself before the ban list. Like these are my hopes for the ban list. And then I will film myself after the ban list comes out with like my reactions on it. Because that's like the kind of stuff that I would want to see. I don't want to see like a big long article or anything like that. I make these little skits every morning because I just think it's fun to like put something out, but I never do it in a way where it's like I have to get something out this morning. If I can't find something that I don't want to do, I don't do it.
Yeah, you're only doing it if you're feeling it.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, the panel is like I've been to PAX East, PAX West, Emerald City Comic Con. I go to a lot of different events. I almost never go to panels. Like I am mostly checking out events or vendors or something like that. But panels have never really been super interesting to me. But having this sort of like live play element to it where we're all drawing stuff is really fun, and having like crowd interactions where people are telling us who we have to draw, seeing us react in live, or seeing us react live to somebody coming up and saying, I want you to draw the blue-black Nightmare Matters commander from Ikoria, and having all of us go, I have literally no idea what you're talking about, and having us try to like guess what a nightmare looks like, just out of the top of our head. It's just a lot of fun. And it's like, even if this was not a panel, even if this was something that was just like Wizards, like, okay, these tables you can have for 2 hours, like I would still be doing it.
Yeah, which is what you did the first 2 conventions that you
exactly,
did it at.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've also I've had a lot of people, I've actually had at least 2 people come up to me and say, like, I've actually started drawing again because I came to the Doodle-Off and I was like, I can't draw. And you were like, no, everyone can draw. Come on. And you like complimented me after doing the drawing. Like, you did great. Like, and it's trying to break down this barrier that I think a lot of people have where they're like, I can't draw. And it's like, yes, you can. You're just choosing to believe that you don't draw, that you can't draw because you're not currently wearing a splint because you're hurting your hand drawing or anything like that.
Make shitty art. Make bad art. Release and make bad art, because you'll never make good art unless you're also making bad art. And that's for any art medium.
Yeah.
That's the advice I'm constantly telling myself these days. Man, let me tell you, it's hard as a writer to make bad art.
Yeah, true.
I'm like writing, I'm like, this is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad. And then I look back at it and I'm like, wow, that was so bad.
You gotta get the bad ideas out, right? And especially if you break down that barrier of like everything I have to produce has to be polished, then you can take that bad idea and you can iterate on that bad idea and be like, oh, this was like a good baseline. Maybe I can change it, like something like that.
Perfectly makes sense. Jacob, what made you want to get involved? David said, will you be involved? And you said, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big part of it. Definitely David just being very kind and asking me to be involved. I think the desire to become more and more involved came when I saw the potential and success with the show that I have going on with Adobe. It's still in infant stages, so like, don't get me wrong, I'm not out here pulling like 1 million views per video, but I saw that, streaming to 90 concurrent viewers feels really good, and like people being like, this is hilarious. And I saw and still feel that there is so much potential with the Doodle-Off that I feel morally and just physically very invested in this. And I've had a lot of conversations with David too of like, I don't want to be overstepping in my involvement, but I would love to be a consistent resource in any way that I can. And I think we found a decent balance of like offloading work and not taking away from the creative vision. I think you asked for my opinion on a lot of stuff, which I always very much appreciate and value, that you care about my opinion. But at the end of the day, when it comes to this, my full intentions are to be, a resource while also being involved, while also not trying to like take away from the core vision, which is it's David's vision, right? At the end of the day, it's David's vision. And if I can be the little tent poles that hold it up a little bit so it doesn't stress him out, having to wrangle 8 artists together every single convention, then I'll be that until I'm not needed anymore,
and honestly, part of the reason that I went after Jacob is like I saw how clean his art was, and I saw that he was like doing Adobe stuff. And when I was in college, I did take a couple of classes to do with Adobe and everything. And Adobe Illustrator is the program that just refuses to work with me no matter what I do. Like I had like several classes. Some of them were like intro to every single different program that we can think of. And some classes where it's like, okay, now we're going to open Illustrator. And it didn't matter. Every single time it happened, I just couldn't get Illustrator to work with me. So I was like, ooh, somebody who can handle the dragon.
Yeah. I mean, it also too, it as someone that works very intimately with the program and like sees stuff get released often and has access to the betas and stuff like that. Things change with Illustrator monthly, like literally monthly. They add, they subtract, they change. And if you're not in the space, like I don't blame anyone for not being able to pick up on it because it's an extremely, even for me, difficult program to stay up to date with.
So it's kind of good for me to fill in the holes of like where I am like not super great at like working in that space and with Jacob.
Mm-hmm. I think this is. I did want to ask you really quick. Where did the Doodle character come from? Such a cute little guy.
Do you know that he is an Unfinity card?
I did not.
He's an official Magic card.
He's an official Magic card?
Yeah, it's Doodle caricaturist, I think.
Oh my gosh. Doodle caricaturist. Yes, I now recognize this card.
6 mana, 1/1. When he enters the battlefield, you have 10 seconds to draw a character, and he gets different characteristics based on all of the different characteristics that you draw. And when I was going to Vegas 23, even before I came up with this idea, I was like, I want to make some stickers. And I had drawn a few things that I have on my water bottle, one of them being this Elish Norn crying like Chopper from One Piece.
Yeah.
And I was like, get another look at that when you realize it. Which was adapted from a comic that I drew from one of the March of the Machine stories. But I was like, I want to have some other stuff to hand out, and I had this drawing of Bloodtide Harvester that was like a redraw of like a meme, but I was like, I need something else. And then I came up with the idea for the Doodle Off, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like give out a sticker or something if somebody like won the event. But I don't know what to make it. Like, should I? And I was like looking up like artist characters through Scryfall, like art, that kind of stuff. And Doodle showed up, and I was like, oh my god, wait, this is fantastic, because he works so well with my like little cartoony art style. So this is the original Doodle sticker with his little trophy that he's holding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like Doodle, and he's got an easel, and he's got a paintbrush, and he's got a trophy. Yeah, it's cute.
The one thing with the way that I drew Doodle the first time, he just has one eye, and then Howling Salt Mine Sam was like, actually, he has two eyes. That like it looks like he's just kind of like pinching his eye shut to be like this. So I always draw him with his left eye pinched shut as if it's like a screw or something now. But it's funny to see him like develop over time too, because we also like reached out to Ralph Horsley for the token, and originally we were going to pay him to draw us a card back. But then he actually came back to me and was like, actually, I had to do an artist proof for a charity event. And I just drew Doodle. Do you want to just use this Doodle on the back of the card?
Literally, he's like, you can have it. Like, just
I drew this for you. You can just use this. Yeah. And we were like, oh my god, that's incredible.
Scanned it, high quality.
That's awesome.
Like, use it for whatever. And I got to meet him at Chicago.
Too, yeah, he was at Chicago, right? Yeah.
He is the sweetest little baby angel I've ever met in my entire life.
Fun little British man.
So kind. Yeah. So kind. Tried to sell me an artist proof that I did not have money for, but very kind.
I did.
Did you buy it?
I did.
Yeah.
I sold a bunch of random stuff in my binder to get it. And it was really cool. He was so friendly about it too, and he's like really appreciated seeing us kind of take this character and turn it into its own little like mascot thing. I think the funniest part about this is that I'd actually mostly forgotten about Doodle when I was coming up with this like sticker design and for the mascot for the event, because like Unfinity was like forever ago, but I remembered it because my wife and I actually did a 2-headed giant release of it with a bunch of friends, and we opened Doodle, and I was like, oh, you should have this because you would have more fun doing this little drawing. And she, like, in between rounds was, like, practicing. Like, she had her phone out and was like, I gotta do it faster. Because it's, like, there's, like, a hit list of, like, it has to have wings, it has to have horns, and, like, all this stuff. So that kind of, like, imprinted on my mind that I was able to access later on.
I'm gonna read the full rules text of Doodle really quick.
Oh no!
For our podcast listeners at home, Doodle, caricaturist. It is a 6-drop 1/1 legendary artifact creature robot from Infinity. Acorn stamp. Sorry, haters everywhere. When Doodle Caricaturist enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 colorless sketch creature token, which you have 15 seconds to draw.
Oh, it's 15.
Yeah, the token has flying if it has wings in its art. The same is true for First Strike and a sword, Vigilance and a shield, Menace and mean eyes, Trample and horns, Death Touch and claws, Lifelink and fangs, and haste and footwear. So yeah, if you could somehow get all of that artwork, all of those things in there in 15 seconds, you could have a flying, First Strike, vigilant, menace, trampling, death touch, life linking, haste guy. 4/4. That'll just win the game if your opponent doesn't immediately have a removal spell. Yeah. Seems good for a 6-drop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
truly.
now you both have to make like rule 0 Doodle as the commander.
I thought about it.
Listen, all I'm saying is, Gavin Verhey, we're like 4 deep, man. Listen, you ain't even got to make one for the individual artists. You could just make one for the event. You know, I'll run that commander. I'll get Ralph Horsley to do an AP on it. Come on, baby. Easy money.
You know what's funny though? I actually did reach out to Gavin over Blue Sky. I was like, "Hey man, like if you would like we're doing this thing. If you would like to come by, because I just thought it would be fun to have like a Wizards employee check out the event too." Didn't think he would respond, and he was like, "Oh, actually, that sounds really cool. I'd love to come by." And he goes, "What time is it?" And I was like, "Well, it's at this time." But as I opened the MagicCon app to check to make sure that I had the right time, I noticed that you have an unknown event scheduled during it. And he goes, "So unfortunate," but I did run into him at the actual convention, just like as we were like walking around. I saw him and I ran up to him like, "I'm gonna run and talk with you. I'm sure you're very busy. I'm the guy you were messaging. Thank you for being so kind. Here's the little doodle token." And he was like really friendly about it too.
Yeah.
So it was really cool of him.
He's a nice dude. I feel like he's very encouraging and just, you know, very like humble. I feel like for being like one of the biggest Magic real person faces.
Yeah,
100%. And I'm sure he has a lot of responsibility being that too, especially with taking over the Commander RC and like things like that too. It's a lot of responsibility, and he's just a very kind, humble dude.
Definitely. What is so you did Showdown once. What are the futures for the what are the lessons for the future there? What are the future hopes for both the panel and both Showdown? I assume you will continue doing both of them. You would like to continue doing both of them. Yeah.
Doodle Showdown, 50 years, 100 years, 100 million
what's
years.
The 100 year, David, what's the 100-year plan for the Doodle Showdown?
Alexander against Jeff Risings versus Wayne England Ghost versus
David and Jacob.
Yeah, we lose
combined
every time.
As a team.
We'll never get points again, truly.
I think overall, I would just like to keep doing it as long as they'll let me keep doing it. If we can do it on like a bigger stage, that would be cool. But if we are, like I mentioned earlier, if we're relegated to just a table and I like put out on Facebook, like, hey, or Facebook, good Lord, put out on social media, like, hey, we'll be in this space. If you guys want to come watch us do a little doodle off, like I'm fine doing that too. For the spectacle play and the showdown, I would love to keep doing that too, as long as they'll have us. I've actually been running.
It seemed to go very well for you.
Yeah, this is the third spectacle play that I've run, like third type. I also ran a murder mystery, like mafia style event with Kes Wiley at Chicago in 2024, and I've been running trivia with Anurag Das for the past 3 events as well. So, like, I really enjoy getting.
Yeah, but you're a little busy bee. You're a little busy bee.
I played 3 games of Magic at MagicCon, which is an insane amount of games of Magic for me to play.
More than usual.
Yeah, which is to say 0. But I honestly, like, I really enjoy doing it. Like, I try to make sure that I still do MagicCon stuff. Like, I traded for a Tundra. I like got to hang out with my friends. We like did a little bit of a like Commander game with my guys from college that I haven't seen in forever. But, you know, even if it means that I don't really get to do, like, MagicCon stuff and my entire event is just spent running these little side events or these panels or everything, like, that's totally fine with me. I just really enjoy doing that.
I think that's, like, the dream, right? Like, the dream is to be there and, like, for lack of a better term, like, serve something that has given us so much, right? Like, I wouldn't know you, David, if Magic didn't exist. Cal, I wouldn't know you if Magic didn't exist. I probably wouldn't know you if, like, playing with power or content creation around this didn't exist, right? And being able to bridge that gap and like, you know, I had a very particular experience with a woman that came into the panel who was like, yeah, I'm here with my 14-year-old and he's downstairs playing in the free play event and I'm super bored because I'm 50 and I hate, like, I don't want to play Magic.
I remember this,
you know? And she's like, so I was looking at like panels that would be fun and I came to yours and like, this was the best experience I've had of the whole con. Like, this is something I relate to. This is something I enjoy. And like, I would just love to continue to be that, or to bridge that gap, to say, okay, maybe you aren't the biggest Magic fan, maybe you aren't the biggest card game fan, but you're here with your kid, or you're here with your husband, or you're here with your boyfriend, and you know, I want to do something fun. This is like meant to be more accessible, I guess.
Giving people something to do that's not playing Magic.
Yeah,
right. MagicCon.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you are making something that I'm sure you would enjoy as well.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the goal, baby.
And going back to that Smash thing where it all came from, I went back last year and I won again. And Battle of BC7's upcoming, and I'm considering going to the event literally just to win and to make sure that Piss Boy doesn't win again.
You've got to clean up.
Just their tag. I'm not calling somebody Piss Boy.
You're just going around attempting to clean up all of the majors.
Quite literally spiking events. You're like,
my friends are like, David, you have to stop playing in these. There are no other artists here. People are drawing like Mario, like a circle stick figure, and you're drawing him in perspective, holding a fireball with a pose. Stop.
You're bringing a CDH deck to a Pauper tournament, dude.
Exactly. And not only am I doing that, I actually went up to the event organizers at the end of last year, and I was like, hey, this was a ton of fun, but I do kind of feel like I'm smurfing the event. Can I help judge it next year? And they were like, sure, you can volunteer for the event. And I was like, no, I don't want to volunteer to help run the event. I literally just want to run to judge this event, because otherwise I'm just going to win again.
Oh, brother. I guess that's as good of a time as any to shift gears a little bit. I wanted to pick both of your brains about your history with art in general. It's always interesting to hear. It's always interesting for me to hear from creatives how they kind of got to where they are now. So, David, you were talking last. Let's go to Jacob. Jacob, what's your history with art? You work with Adobe now. You're scribbling all the time. But where do we start? How did we get here?
I had a very unique experience with art, I'll say, because I had a pretty I didn't have a ton of aspirations when I first started looking into careers and stuff. I came out of high school with really bad grades. I went to college for a semester, had a really toxic relationship, broke up with that person, left college, dropped out of college and moved back in with my mom during the pandemic, and was like, man, I feel like I'm not aspiring to do anything. At the time I was working at Apple, which was great. It was a great job. I was a technician. It was good money. But that's all I had. I had no design outlet. I had no creative outlet, and living with my mom and having essentially 9 months of unemployment, I was in this position where I'm like, I could sit here and rot and watch Full Metal Alchemist for the 8th time, or I can try to pursue something. So, for the long short, I started my creative outlet with sewing. I made my own clothes. My mom taught me how to sew. Then that turned into tie-dyeing and manipulating clothes and doing these fun split shirts and things like that. And that turned into, well, I want to customize these shirts even more. So I want to screen print these shirts. So I taught myself how to screen print, and somewhere in between that, the Musically turned into TikTok. And I'm like, this seems like a fun outlet to document my process to look back on. This will be so much fun. Post my first post, I get 200 views. Next post get 400 views. Next post get 2 million. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I should continue doing this. I got 10,000 followers overnight. So I keep posting, and then it hit 500,000 views. And then another one hits 600,000 views. Another one hits 800,000 views. And I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. And lo and behold, 6 months of doing this manipulation with clothes and showing my screen printing process and showing things that I mess up, I accrue 130,000 followers on TikTok. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. This is wild. So I move out of my mom's house. I moved to Charleston, like onto the peninsula. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing pop-ups. I'm going to start doing things like that. And I'm getting reached out to by companies now. And like, Adobe's reaching out, Microsoft's reaching out, JBL's reaching out, like all these people that I never, ever thought I'd work with. Pabst Blue Ribbon reached out. And I'm just accruing this portfolio, starting to do more things. And then I'm like, okay, I'm making money. I need to go to the next level. So I'm like, I'm going to move to New York. It's the middle of the pandemic. This is the move, right? Try to move to New York. It's too expensive. So I land on Philadelphia, move up to Philly, have a wonderful time. Me as an artist, I grow even more. Actually, it's funny. On the drive up, I had a transition to Apple, and I'm like, fuck this. Like, I want to do this for real. So I call Apple on my drive, and I'm like, I quit, like fully quit. I'm driving up to Philly with no job and all the pressure in a brand new house, so, and it put the pressure on, but like, I just developed relationships with companies. I developed relationships with social media. And of course, for full context, like all of those views and things have tapered off, right? Like I am in a position where like I struggle to rake in 10,000 views, 20,000 views. And I'm okay with that. I truly think I am, because my experience with getting to where I'm at now and building that relationship with Adobe and people coming up to me and saying, oh, I know you as a screen printing guy. I don't screen print anymore, is like enough for me to feel fulfilled, especially now that that professional level is going from, doing this as like an aspiration hobby to like, I make all of my money right now through Adobe, like all of it. Like I can pay my bills by working with Adobe once a week, which is very fulfilling. And even if that goes away, that can't be taken away. And for me, Magic held such a huge place in my heart for that as well. And of course, like I'm known as like the Adobe professional illustrator guy, but I'm not known as like the Magic guy, right? So I met Joanna through my wife through Magic. I met a ton of friends through Magic. And yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to bridge that gap. And I've been working on that this year of like trying to start Fiendish Duo with Kev. And we had a great run with that. We got to play on Play to Win. We got to do fun stuff. We got to learn to play CDH. And now that we've lost a little bit of time for that, doing my own personal stuff, doing the Doodle Off, doing tokens on Patreon, like just trying to bridge that gap, because now I have the time, I have the drive, and I have the passion. Like, what's next? All that to a lot of exposition to get to that point. So
yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty cool history. It's not that long either. It's not that long either. It's like 4 years old, 5 years old.
Yeah, about 5 years. So just getting started, thankfully.
That's wild. David, what about you?
So I think how I describe this. So when I was like really young, I wanted to be an archaeologist because I thought you could dig up dinosaur bones. Then I found out archaeologist digs up humans, and it was like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm like, it's like, well, you could be a paleontologist. They dig up dinosaurs. Like, no, that's
I'm off it.
I'm off. I don't care anymore.
If I can, I only want to be an archaeologist who digs up dinosaurs.
Archaeologist sounds cooler than paleontologist. So my then next career goal is that I'd like to be a pediatrician, because my a lot of the people on my mother's side are or were doctors in some form of another. And my grandmother always said that she thought that I would be like a really good pediatrician because I'm very good with kids. And I kind of like took that to heart. I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? I think I could do this. And then like, I think in like 8th grade or something, my mom was like, dude, you have to start trying harder on your tests. And I was like, what?
Or else you'll never be a doctor.
I'm playing Pokemon Platinum right now. What are you talking about? And she was like, no, it's that you have to do better on these so that you can get into a better, like, you know, the AP classes, which gets you in a better college, med school, fellowship, etc. And it was sort of overwhelming to me to think about, like, I need to start planning for my future this hard. And it's like, I think I got like a B- or something on this test. And it was like a math test or something too, which was like one of my weaker subjects. And I kind of like thought about it like, do I actually want to do this? Because I would really like to do like video game design or art or animation or something. And I like had a breakdown. I was like crying to her, and she was like, no, of course, you don't have to be a doctor, dude. Like, it's fine. I was just trying to help you. Like, I apologize if I stressed you out. Like, you can still do this. And in reality, it was like, no, I think I do want to be an artist. And from there, I kind of started, because I had always been drawing since I was like really little. I started like doing more art classes and everything. And I had a really weak art program in my high school. But I got into an art school in Savannah, Georgia, where I was there.
Was it SCAD?
It was SCAD.
No way. Okay, sorry. I have to interject. That is a very prestigious school. You should definitely say.
I do appreciate that.
It's very prestigious. I applied, got denied, but I love SCAD. Sorry, didn't mean to interject.
No, you're fine. I mean, I loved going down there. I like made a ton of friends. Like the people that I was hanging out with at Chicago a few weeks ago were my friends from college. I met them through playing Magic and everything. It was a great time. And I graduated with a major in animation and then a minor in previous visualization, which is, I don't know if you'll include the bit from earlier, but it's essentially 3D storyboarding, which I got into because I realized that my 2D art skills were not going to be where they needed to be competitive within the storyboarding market. So I found this other niche to focus on. And it was good because I actually just started applying to jobs over the summer after I graduated. And my mother's actually from, she has Canadian citizenship. So I am a dual citizen, and I was able to apply for jobs in Canada, and I got a job at a studio in Vancouver working on a show called Mega Man Fully Charged, which was super cool that I got to work on a Mega Man show. Show's a little silly, but I basically pulled myself out of Savannah in 2017, drove up to Boston, did a bit of a hot swap of a bunch of stuff. Like I went to the doctor, went to the dentist, all that stuff. Then I drove out, and I've been in Canada since September of 2017.
Canadians,
right? I was going to say, we got the Canadian crew in here.
Yeah. And I've been working in the animation industry since then. I've been mostly working in the department that I wanted to work in. I've been at 3 different studios. My most recent contract ended last Friday. So this is the first time in like 7 years that I've been unemployed. Which is more uncommon that it is taken me this long to become unemployed. But I've really been enjoying all the different work that I've done. The show that I was on recently was super cool. But in that time, I always wanted to be good at 2D art. Like I've been working in 3D shows, and when I got to Vancouver, I started drawing every single day, and like I would upload something to like my Instagram, my Twitter, or something. And sometimes it would be like big, complicated drawings. Sometimes it would be like Inktober. Other times I would just like be asleep in bed, be like, ah, damn it, and pull my phone out and draw something on it and then go to sleep just to keep the streak going. And when I started dating my girlfriend, or who then became my wife, she was very encouraging of it. Like, you should like draw more. You should draw more. And she actually bought me an iPad so that I could start working in Procreate, because she was like, your art is so good. Like, you would do so well if you had Procreate, because I have a drawing tablet sitting right next to me where I was drawing in Clip Studio. And for whatever reason, like Procreate, just being able to like sit in my hand and draw like that and just clicked so much faster than working in Procreate. The way that I always think about it is that I have this drawing that I did for somebody back in like maybe 2018 of like Primeval Titan and Valakut in the background. And then you compare it to like the speed token that I did for Chicago. And it's like the quality difference is just so insane. And I think that I've like gotten so much better in like the past year of art than I have in such a long period of time. And I think like the self-improvement is something that that keeps me going. Like, the next project looks cooler than the last project, which looks cooler than the last project. But for the most part, it is very much like I just enjoy what I do. I've been very fortunate that I've been able to work in the animation industry for so long. But I still have goals that I would like to achieve. If you guys don't know, the studio that made Spider-Verse is actually in Vancouver. And I have wanted to work. Spider-Verse, both of them are 2 of my 3 favorite movies of all time. And that is like a goal that I would love to achieve. So I've also been like trying to think about maybe I like buckle down and just start working on some personal projects to like really up my game in the meantime.
That'd be super cool if you could work for them. That'd be wild.
That'd be super cool, yeah. But I think like for the most part, my like artistic journey has kind of been like underestimating myself. Like not initially thinking that I could do storyboarding and then being able to be successful in the department that I'm in now. Not really thinking that people will be like the stickers and stuff that I did. And then I showed you the Elish Norn crying and you were like laughing really hard. And that's like the kind of reaction that I like to get now.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
my art and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's super sick. Gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And David, are you making a lot of shit art?
Yeah. It's because I can't draw right now.
Well, I'm glad to hear both of your histories with art and also kind of what you're doing like right now. It's really always really cool for me to hear from other creatives about like what they're doing and what they have going on and what their goals and dreams are. I guess to go straight back to Doodle really quick before we finish up because we are running out of time. Vegas, Atlanta, hopes, dreams, plans, David?
I would love to make the Doodle Off a thing that you see at literally every single MagicCon until I turn into dust.
95.
Yeah.
95. Turning into 95. Hey, everyone, welcome to the Doodle Off.
I have my cyborg arm drawing.
You are the Doodle. You're the Doodle caricature now.
Get my Dr. Octopus arms surgically attached to me. I get a pair of glasses that look like the Doodle like eyes.
Yeah.
Well, Herald's Horn listeners, the next MagicCon you are at, be looking out for the Doodle panels. I got to go to the one in Vegas. I did not get to go to the one in Chicago. I'm so mad about it. But, you know, that's what comes with vending at an event.
True.
I played 2 games of Magic at Chicago.
Wow.
Because I said, I'm slinging playmats. And it was a great change of pace. It was a great time. But I would love to be at any future Doodle event that I can be at.
Great news, though. I Write Robots, also known as Hen, actually filmed the Doodle Off.
Yes.
And I have that file on my computer that I need to edit and upload to my YouTube channel so that
and
you
then
can
I can watch it.
see it. And then you can watch it.
Well, David and Jacob, I have 2 more questions for you. One, I'm going to tell you now, and you're going to answer it in a few minutes because it's for the patrons only. It's my patron question I'm asking everyone.
Nice.
We're just going to talk about y'all's hobbies and interests outside of Magic the Gathering. That's the same question I'm kind of asking everyone. I like to pick people's brain about that too. But the other question I have for both of you, we're going to start with David. Do you have anything else that you would like to leave the listeners of the Herald's Horn with before we go?
Go get some printer paper and go get a pen and go to Gatherer, Scryfall, whatever, hit random card, and then draw the first character that you see within 1 minute after just taking whoever you look at, and then you got 1 minute to draw it, and then post it on Blue Sky and at all 3 of us.
Yes, please.
Perfect. Jacob, anything from you?
Yes, let me grab something real quick. It's right behind me. Wow. Oh my God. Mine's way less wholesome. I have a Patreon that I'm trying to get going. I make tokens and I make postcards, and this is something that's very new to my I guess art career. And listen, I don't care about the money. I just want people to own my art. I want to make more physical stuff, and I want to enjoy making stupid stuff. And I already do, but I definitely want to give that to other people, right? Like I want to do more things for me, less corporate, and just be like, I feel like drawing Guy. Here is Guy for you. So please, if you feel so inclined, if you want a little piece of paper with a doodle on it, check out my Patreon, because I would love to have you.
Can I say 2 things on top of that?
Yes, you can. You can plug your stuff too.
Well,
David.
no. I would also plug that if you like the playmat that Jacob drew.
Yes, this is actually important.
Over on his Jankmats page, he actually put this design up that you can go and grab, and any of the money that we earn from this playmat sale will be put towards any future Doodle events. So like playmats, tokens, that kind of stuff. And then the other one is that I promise I want to put together like a Patreon or a coffee or something like that. I've just been kind of slacking. So if you go look at my Blue Sky, maybe there's some information about how to get some stuff in the future. I don't know.
Yes, gamers, look in the YouTube description, look in the podcast description. All of these gamers' information will be there. You'll be able to find it there, all that kind of fun stuff. So Jacob, David, thank you very much for joining me here on the Herald's Horn. It was great to have you.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you everyone at home for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, David and Jacob, for joining me here on the Herald's Horn for this week's interview. If you want to hear a little bit more from them, there is the bonus question available on Patreon now. And of course, you can also follow them on all of their social media, all of their different platforms. You can find all of that in the description. Thank you so much for listening to this interview. Give us a like, all that kind of dumb stuff if you enjoy what I'm doing here. We will see you on Thursday for the news.